It's the Full Force News Burst Extra, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com, with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. With a number of new name-only reveals emerging over the past few weeks, it's time to deep dive on a very awesome troop builder, so let's talk classified night creepers. It's ninja time, people. Yes, we haven't had a classified ninja since, well, Vipra, actually. Okay, that was like 2 minutes ago, so whatever. I love ninjas anyway, so it's all good. More importantly, I love these next ninjas on the line plan. Dropped as a name-only reveal very recently during PulseCon, it's the Night Creepers. A tech-savvy underground ninja clan of mysterious assassins were originally described as a syndicate of high-tech ninjas who had a contract with Cobra Commander himself. I remember seeing the Night Creeper figure for the first time and really falling in love with the concept and the figure design. It almost felt like a new enemy faction had been created without all the other bells and whistles that a lot of specific sublines got. Here we had a single figure that looked really cool and had an incredibly interesting backstory. The Marvel Comics and the DiC cartoon series would breathe even more life into this new group of bad guys and portray them very differently. A leader was also created for the clan who appeared varied in each iteration of the brand. A more subtle leader in the comics called Aleph before they switched to the toy version later, an ever so slightly different take on subtlety in the animated series, and a blindfolded shirtless warrior in orange and black for the toys. That's more of a conversation for Let's Talk Classified Night Creeper Leader, so I will stick to the troops for this particular video. Either way, I was hooked into the story with these guys and my mind went wild with excitement when coming up with fun play patterns for them. I picked this particular figure up during a trip to the United States in 1992. The figure had been out for a while at that stage and wouldn't arrive in the UK until 1993, but I got lucky and treasured the purchase immensely. There was something very cool about the look of this guy. The visor, headdress, body armour, beautiful deco, and the weapons and accessories were awesome. Version 1 was released in 1990 in the US and came with a red backpack and sword storage, two very unique swords, one wavy, one with barbed prongs running down either side of the blade, and a massive fancy crossbow. In the United Kingdom and Europe, we wouldn't see this figure until 1993, as I mentioned previously, and a few elements were changed. For one thing, he was packaged with a purple repainted version of the Mercer V2 rocket launcher backpack. An odd choice for the character for sure, but something that was included in a lot of the later releases and was probably added to make it fit with the other figures on shelves at the same time. In addition to that, or more specifically subtraction, the original backpack and the two cool swords were removed from his loadout, no doubt taken away to make room for the massive rocket launcher and backpack. Was that all that was changed, Chris? I hear you aggressively demand. No, he also had a card art alteration. For one thing, he appeared on an updated explosion background that all the figures were given around that time in Europe, and the character colour was ever so slightly altered to make it match the brighter purple pink of his short sleeve shirt on the figure. The US card had a more subdued purple, as you are probably already aware. As well as that slight deco shade distinction, they also had to remove the sword poking over his shoulder because the figure no longer came with them. Of course, the crossbow stayed put because he also had that in his loadout. As we were getting the version 1 in the UK, the United States were busy filling out their brand new Ninja Force subline. The version 2 Night Creeper was an acquired taste for sure, but man was I sold on it. The deco had gone much brighter with a shocking pink and light blue combo, the helmet design went very futuristic with a Battlestar Galactica Cylon vibe, and, based on the card art, file card and first comic appearance in the Marvel A Real American Hero issue 135, they were originally intended to come with a cape of sorts. The file card even calls it out on the numbered checklist as a Hitowashi Night Creeper cape. As much as I loved this figure and had him as a kid thanks to another US trip, the new Ninja Force action feature, the Banzai Bash, did limit articulation quite a lot. There was no space for a backpack hole because of the feature, but they ended up with a lot of handheld weapons in that striking blue colour. The additional gimmicks seem to be a running theme with the Ninja Force and one of a few reasons why they are derided by the fandom to this day. Despite that, I ruddy loved the figure and was happy to add another member to the Night Creeper family. In 1994, the same figure mould was used for the Shadow Ninjas. Each figure would change colour to give the illusion of being invisible. The Night Creeper went from pink and grey to all white bar the red visor visor, grey belt and gloves and tan boots. He came with the same weapons tree loadout, only in a translucent blue this time. In 1998, the original Night Creeper figure was released in a Cobra Polar Force 3-pack with Firefly version 4 and Snow Serpent version 4 in a white, grey, silver and blue deco. He was given his crossbow and wavy sword, but there was no sign of the backpack or pronged sword unfortunately. For ease, I'm going to jump ahead a year and version so I can cover one more repaint before rewinding to the new Sculpt era. So in 2004 we get the true exclusive Cobra Strike Team Urban Division featuring Alley Viper version 9, Firefly version 11, Nullifier version 2, Scrap Iron version 2, Storm Shadow version 12 and of course the Night Creeper version 6. This beauty featured a very cool new redeco of blue, black, grey and light grey camo. An unreleased deco version also found its way into some lucky collectors' hands with red. Right then, going backwards now to 2003 and the new Sculpt era of the brand. G.I. Joe vs Cobra Spy Troops gave the Night Creeper a drastic new design with a blue and silver deco. The version came in a 2-pack with Kamakura and would be repainted a whopping 4 more times in a 2-year span. 2004 saw a grey and brown repaint for Valor vs Venom in a 2-pack with Dr. Link Talbot and a green and copper repaint with a Cobra Ninja Trooper. A red and silver version came with the true exclusive Hiss Tank in 2005, and in the same year we had a blue and gold version on a single card with 2 different card back variations. Then we find ourselves in the modern 4-inch era. The version 1 Night Creeper design was the inspiration for the Defense of Cobra Island 7-pack figure in 2009. He came with Air Viper version 2, Alley Viper version 11, Bat version 21, Dr. Mindbender version 6, Lamprey version 5 and the Range Viper version 4. He came with a removable hood and armour secondary, the classic style backpack, wavy sword and crossbow. He got a blue repaint for a Rise of Cobra 2-pack the same year. He got the same gear and was packaged with Shock Blast version 3, some decals and a temporary tattoo. We wouldn't see another Night Creeper for 7 years in the G.I. Joe Collectors Club Figure Subscription Service Volume 4. Using a number of different parts with the version 11 head, the club homaged the Polar Force deco and added a white cape to the loadout, which evoked the cancelled cape that never came with the version 2 figure. This was a very awesome addition for the Snow Ninja as well and seemed appropriate for the weather specialty. We have had one more figure for the Night Creepers and it came during the Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins movie Kids line. The figure looked pretty cool but didn't really fit with the more advanced classified series figures at the time, so it makes me very happy that we will be getting a Night Creeper now in the classified series, so let's get into that. Now I am fully expecting a version 1 style design here in the purple deco. The Snake Eyes movie figure is probably a good barometer for what to expect here, at least from a design and deco perspective. I fully expect some new tooling to be thrown in there for the head, headgear, possibly secondary armour plating, maybe even some connected shoulder armour on said secondary to mimic the same design seen on that movie figure, and of course the weapons and accessories. I imagine there are plenty of existing parts that can make up the rest of the figure, but we shall see what they come up with. I would have to say that we need both the crazy swords, the backpack with storage options for both swords this time, and that wicked crossbow, which could also mount on the pack somewhere. I also feel strongly about adding more details to the crossbow, like a cool digital readout screen, or even just give them CoverGirl's tablet with a building schematic on it to homage their tech specialties. Something to separate them from the usual ninja crew. It would be fun to also throw in some rope or sculpted rope a la Shipwreck and a grappling hook to add more detail relating to their cat burglar file card narrative. As far as the headgear goes, I would love a removable hood and removable visor with a classic ninja mask head sculpt underneath. They could even throw in a hood down neck piece to allow for multiple looks. These guys are troop builders after all, and they need some element of variation to give the fans options for display. As I stated before, the movie figure would be a good barometer of what to expect, but they have to include the camouflage on the grey pants, otherwise it just looks unfinished, and that's almost a part of what makes the Night Creepers so iconic in the first place. Considering the fact we are seeing so much more in the way of accessories for the figures now, I could even see more stuff packed into the new window packaging. Storm Shadow's compound bow, those bladed Karma or axe weapons, just loads of gear in general in order to mix it up a bit. As far as repaints go, then this figure is primed for a couple for sure. For one thing, if they decide to subdue the colours for the classified aesthetic, then they could re-release the figure in more classic colours for a retro carded version. That's a basic one I could see happening, especially with the recent name-only reveals for Retro Eels and Retro Snow Serpent. The more exciting options, however, would be the Cobra Strike Team Urban Redeco, which we actually have 2 options for, red and blue base camo. Then there's just the straight up blue version we saw in that Rise of Cobra 2 pack, but that's pretty much a callback to the urban figure in the blue anyway. And of course my favourite option, Cobra Polar Force. That white, silver and blue would look so fresh on a classified figure and would bolster the winter operations ranks for Cobra. Not to mention throwing in a cape. Hell, they could do that for the regular Night Creeper, homaging the cancelled V2 cape and just keep it going through the repaints. I think the regular Night Creepers would look amazing with a cape, and that would certainly add another dimension to the new figure. As it stands though, the big money is on a standard release, version 1 styled with a decent amount of accessories. Anyway, what do you guys think? Are you excited for the Night Creepers in the classified series? Will you be requesting their services on the dark web? Deluxe with lots of cool gear or standard fare? Let me know in the comments below. Okay team, lots more content to come, so keep it locked, stay fresh cheese bags, and as always, full force. That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst Extra. Thank you for watching, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force!